Hi, this is Bill, the photo brother.
Hey, and I'm Dan, the video brother, and this is Stacktalk, the podcast with the Railbrothers, where we talk about big trains, small trains, old trains, new trains, and everything in between. Today, we're back. It's been a minute.
It's been like 2 months.
It's been like 2 months. I was arguing this is now the start of season 3. Billy's like, this is season. You can still say it's season
2.5.
It's 2.5. Yeah. Apologies
Give us credit.
for. Yeah. So we've been trying to do monthly. We're not doing. I had some things going on in my life. I wasn't able to make the podcast last month. But some exciting things. I have an exhibit that will be going up in the Philadelphia AIA Center for July. I'm only saying this because, well, first, if you want to join, there will be an event that's on July 24th at 5:30 there.
Does this mean you're going to have the podcast up by then, Danny?
I don't know. Maybe I'll edit it tonight. so if this is after that date, you can't
You just
come.
gave yourself a hard deadline, Danny, and that's like less than a week away.
Hey, maybe I can end this pretty quickly. But I'll have some N-scale models there of some of the work that I've done professionally as an architect. So I'll have a condo tower in N-scale that's in Philadelphia. It's called 500 Walnut, and it's about 3 feet tall. It's like a 300-foot tall tower.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that.
I worked on architecturally a few years back. And then I'll also have a stadium, a AAA stadium for the Syracuse Mets called NBT Bank Stadium, also at N-scale. It's about 4x4, big N-scale model. And then actually another project in N-scale is the Jazz Center I did for Jefferson University. It's also an N-scale, but that's much, much smaller. It's like a little row house-sized building. And then my old City Hall model, which Philadelphia City Hall was my architectural thesis. And so that's also there in N-scale.
Now, the question is, did you also bring your little clear Market Frankfurt line?
I did not. That's not there.
Why not? Those are great.
Yeah, I should have put it there, but it's not there right now. I guess I could bring it.
Bring it.
Yeah, but if any of you guys are listening, you can go to the event. The exhibit will be up for all of July if you want to visit it. It's in Center City, Philadelphia. If you're going to Reading Terminal Market for the food there, or as a rail fan, you just want to check out the building, it's like just a couple, maybe 200 feet from Reading Terminal Market. And it's open on normal business hours, during the week. It's not open during weekends, unfortunately. But you can go in there, check out the exhibit. I think the models they're nice. They're not like the most detailed models in the world, but they are nice to getting a sense of scale of the work that I was doing. But I 3D printed most of them, which was a whole nother task.
Yeah.
So,
and more importantly, it's giving you a lot of practice in 3D printing.
A lot of practice, yeah. There's a lot of things.
I think you might be able to use that for something else.
Yeah. So I did resin 3D printing for the dome of City Hall. I did laser cutting for the old dome of City Hall. I did CNC routing for the existing City Hall. I did filament 3D printing for both 500 Walnut, the condo building, and for the stadium. And the filament printing was great. I had never done filament printing before, and it is very user-friendly from like the printing standpoint, because it's not like giving off toxic fumes. It's not nearly as detailed as the resin 3D printing can get. But if you are familiar at all with the resin 3D printing, it is like extremely toxic. So if you're planning on setting those up in your house, you need to have ventilation in the area.
How do you know this,
from
Danny?
Experience, I basically poisoned my entire family accidentally. I was like, oh, it's toxic. It's not going to be that bad. So I was like, just
open
3D
the
printing.
garage door, right?
Yeah, I was just like 3D printing in the basement. Even though my wife had told me to do it in the garage with the door open, I was like, it'll be fine. They were away for the day, so I was like, it'll just affect me. And when they came back, the dog got sick, and yeah, poor Franklin was barfing. It was not
poor
good.
Frankie.
Yeah, so we had to, I had to put the kibosh on that, open up the whole house for a while, and then I installed a ventilation system. So I did that. But it's just, you gotta wear gloves. You gotta have like a vent. You gotta have a respirator.
Yeah, I saw a
on.
picture. Like you have a picture of that somewhere.
Yeah. I've got that somewhere.
I saw a picture that you and Mia posted of you with that, and I was just like, oh, that's fucking hilarious. I said the F word.
Oh man, Billy, we're only like 5 minutes into this.
Yeah,
thing.
it's like 10:30.
It's 10:30. Fuck it.
Now you've got one. Now we're gonna do.
We got 2. We're gonna be R rated? Oh my god. Yeah, let me find that.
You
picture.
can bleep it out. These are early enough.
I'm not gonna bleep. If I have to get this thing out for like end of, like 2 days from now. No, not bleeping it. That's going in. So fuck it, we're doing it live.
We're doing it live. I am very sorry for any 12-year-olds that are listening right now, and you guys all know these words anyway.
Yeah, I think you're allowed 4, so that's it. All right, so
it?
let me share my screen. This is kind of a silly picture of me, but that was my. So the story behind this picture is
America.
First is you have to wear the ventilation, right? And I don't have my gloves on, but when I go downstairs, I'll put. You have to use nitrile. Was it nitrile gloves? If you use latex gloves, the resin will like go through the latex and start messing with your fingers. But anyway,
wow.
So you have to have the latex gloves on, and you have to have a lot because like if you want to touch anything else, you need to take them off to have clean hands and put on new ones if you want clean stuff to futz with things you don't want resin all over. So you have to cure, then you have to wash the resin in like IPA, which is also gives off fumes.
I don't know.
And then you have to cure it in UV light.
I just think it usually has a little bit more bite to it than other kind of
isopropyl alcohol, not India Pale Ale, by the way. But I mean, people use isopropyl alcohol for like wounds and stuff. But in addition to that, notice I'm wearing an American Freedom Train shirt. That is available on Railbrothers at our shop on Etsy. I don't think I have it's not a tank top. What's that called?
That's a tank top.
It's a tank top? I don't think I have wife beaters or tank tops available for it right now, but I think I should. I ordered the wrong size of this. Like, I ordered a small, and it just, like, did not fit me. So, my wife was like, okay, we're just going to chop off the... You're just going to chop off the arms and see how it looks. Yeah, it doesn't look that bad. I get some, like, weird side boob action going on it, but it's the American Freedom Train. I think it's... I took, we have a daylight shirt, and I basically grabbed some old 1930s advertisements for the daylight, which is that's not 840, I forget the number of it, but anyway, I modified it to look like the American Freedom Train and put some stars behind it. So it's based on, like, original Southern Pacific daylight advertising, but then modified to be the American Freedom Train. I think it's a cool shirt. It is not sold particularly well, but it's one of my favorite things that come up because I think it's patriotic, but not like you just straight up wearing an American flag. Because I sometimes think that's disrespectful to the American flag. Not that I haven't.
It's against
done it,
flag code.
Yeah, if you're a good Boy Scout, you can't. Yeah, right.
How far did you make it in Boy Scouts, Danny?
Never made it to Boy Scouts. I just once we stopped doing Pinewood Derby, I was like, I'm out. Anyway, so. If anyone wants to go to see the exhibit, it'll be up for all of July, and then I'll have a talk on July 24th where there'll be an event. You can register for that at the AIA website. So that is somewhat why I was not able to do this. And actually, I really shouldn't be doing it now because I have to like get ready for this talk and have.
But I got him to procrastinate about
it. But my wife isn't here. Billy got me to be here, so here we are.
There we go. And Danny wants to talk about his layout.
Yeah, so I feel like we talked about Billy's layouts a bit, and I've alluded to my layout a bit, but I don't think I've ever gone like in depth into what I've been trying to do for my layout. So, I have an N-scale layout. Let me just scroll all the way down to the bottom.
Woo! Wow, you're giving it away right now.
So this is what it looks like now.
So for those people not seeing things. Describe this.
Yeah, so the layout is intended to be a like proto freelance. Is that the right terminology?
I think so.
Proto freelance. It's basically a Northeast corridor analogous prototype. I think I had a name for it. I was gonna call it the East Coast corridor.
Yeah, but I like your spaghetti and Western or something like that.
Yeah, well, I think that's definitely the current state. So it's East Coast corridor because I kind of wanted to be like, if I wanted to put British stuff on there, I could do that. So it's like the East Coast main line, but it's like the Northeast corridor, so it's like the East Coast corridor, right? See what I did there?
I see.
Yeah, I think I thought it was clever.
But to give you an idea what the photo we're looking at right now. Currently, its state is what? It's a 5 foot by 11 foot roughly.
It's
table.
It's 3 foot. It's 3'6", maybe something like that. 3 foot.
Okay.
It's like 43 inches wide because they're 4x8s. We cut them down in both directions, so it's not quite 4 feet wide.
Got ya. So it's but 11 feet long.
Yeah, it's like 11'3" or something like that, and that was so it could fit in the front room of my house. So I have a row house, and there's like a sunroom in the front, which is really nice. And Mia thought it'd be nice to have like a semi-portable layout so that it could go up in that front room if I ever wanted to go up there. So it's basically designed to fit in this front room. It breaks into 2 pieces, and it's not going to be easy to transport, but it won't be impossible to transport. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, you're still not giving it away. So this is a 3 to 4 level, really.
Yeah, it depends how you want to measure the levels, but there is a instance where there are 4 tracks on top of each other.
So I'd say 4 level. That sounds impressive to me. So
quad deck
and
modular layout,
and it all goes around in circle. You can just have it keep going around. So like the bottom level is analogous to Penn Station, correct?
Yeah, and I'll it's supposed to be more or less like New York Penn Station, but I think if you just say a Penn Station, like that works too. Because I think it's probably gonna look more like Baltimore Penn Station because it's not that big. And then it might. I think operationally it's more like New York Penn Station because it's got. I use that as a turnaround on the bottom. A lot of that will be covered up in the final configuration. So basically, you'll see the train enter the station at the very bottom, and then it'll disappear underneath the rest of the benchwork, and it'll basically be in staging under there, and it'll reappear later on the other side of Penn Station. So it's almost like you had a train go into Penn Station and turn around in Sunnyside Yard and come back the other way.
Yeah, so that's the first level. Second level, so the train basically loops around on itself, 4 times? 5 times?
Yeah, I think 4 times, yeah.
4 times. So it goes to a second level, which is kind of like your northeast corridor, right? So it's 4-track main line, but it actually does like 2 loops around that,
Yeah,
right?
it does 2 loops around it. So I forget where I read this, but someone was talking about a layout being scenically pure, and then what was the other kind of pure? Like scenically pure, and then
like layout pure,
or
track plan,
track
pure?
Layout pure. But basically, the trains don't ever go on the same track twice. So I guess like track layout, it's pure in that way. Scenically, it's not pure because you'll see the same train like 4 times going around. However, there are sightline breaks built into the whole thing so that it shouldn't appear too obvious that it's the same train going around 4 times. Like it'll disappear and then reappear on a different track. The benefit of that is it looks really cool and it makes it seem like it's a real 4-track main line. The downside is that if you're actually operating it, if you don't know the layout extremely well.
Oh gosh, it's so confusing.
It's very confusing because it's like where's my train going?
But it's really cool,
Yeah.
and that's why you're probably going to control all this with computers. So that's the second level. Third level is it goes up. It takes 2 of those tracks up and does a balloon loop at the top to then send it back down through the whole layout again. And then the 4-ish one is another
Reading
like,
Terminal
station.
At the very top.
Yeah, Reading Terminal.
Yeah, so I mean,
top.
it's loosely based on Reading Terminal. As I said, it's not exactly.
Which is going to be a stub end terminal.
Yeah, so which I guess on the Northeast Corridor you've got Washington Union Station and then also Boston South Station is the 2 stub end terminals that they've got. Washington has some through running. But I wanted to model it after like a condition that doesn't exist, which would be a terminal station that has a proper train shed on it, like Reading Terminal, Old Broad Street Station, Philadelphia, or King's Cross, St. Pancras, or all those great stations in the UK and Europe. Both because that I like Reading Terminal, and I think it's an interesting archetype that we don't have much in the US anymore, and I think it'd be an interesting thing to see like modern American rolling stock going into a train shed terminal like that. But then also because it's a more transatlantic typology for a train station, I'm gonna say that I can run British stuff on it if I want. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if everyone else buys that, but I feel like the Northeast Corridor, kind of has a more international flair to it, at least because
there's electrical lines.
Yeah, because it's got overhead
the...
catenary electrical. I think because it's pretty well engineered, like a British train railroad would be. Anyway,
the rest. And so what we're looking at here, though, so you got the 3 to 4 levels there. It's all currently supported by what? It's you cut out plywood by like the cookie cutter method, and it's all supported by threaded rod right now. By
threaded rod, yeah, which is something I've seen other people have done this.
It seems really cool.
Typically, it's done for like a helix, like you'll build the helix to get a model train onto another level, and you use a threaded rod because it allows you really fine control over the gradients on this, which is really important to make sure that you get reliable running.
Because really, yours is just a giant helix.
It's basically a giant helix, so I'm just trying to carefully control the gradients across the whole thing. It's definitely a work in progress still, but I've tested this multiple times now, like the concept of it, that it can work with the gradients I'm having. Right now, like you can see, like if you're watching it, the bench work's not perfect, and everything's not fastened down yet. Like I'm still dialing in the grades, which is one nice thing about using threaded rod is that you can really dial in the grade precisely to try to make sure that's okay. But the challenge I'm running into right now is a lot of my bench work it's either like 1/4-inch plywood or 1/2-inch plywood, and I'm having issues where when you transition from one plywood thickness to another, that you get a little bump in the track, or I'm having issues with vertical gradients at the moment because I'm using Kato Unitrack. So I think if I have a little more time, I'm going to try to like laminate the track together onto, or laminate the bases that the track is laid onto with multiple, like 2 layers of 1/4-inch, so that I can have a smooth transition. So I'm never going to have like a hard stop in one bit of substrate, if you will.
Yeah, I see that transition in that photo right there. Yeah, so you see that.
Yeah, you can see it. Where there's
when
areas.
You say that's 1/2-inch there and then 1/4-inch, you said?
Yeah, I think it's just Luan.
So why'd you do that? Not to do it all the same stuff?
Well, because certain areas. Well, I think one because I'm trying to keep the weight of this as low as possible, so that when I do have to move it, it's not going to be super heavy because. It's already pretty freaking heavy, and there's no scenery on it. So if I'm gonna add a bunch of scenery on it, it's gonna get pretty freaking heavy. So that's one thing. Item number 2 is that because I'm trying to make it so that the gradients, I have the vertical effect I want, but keeping the gradients as low as possible, which means that when the tracks cross over each other, there's a couple controlling areas that have extremely tight clearances, and so I am trying to keep the construction there as thin as I can. So I'm still trying to optimize that at the moment. So there's some construction details I need to work out, but I think I can get there if I have the time.
Very cool.
And then the cool thing with this is hopefully I could take this layout apart into 2 pieces and bring it to shows, so that if anyone listening like wanted to see it in person, you don't necessarily have to come to my house to see it. I could go to a show and show it someplace.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I'm excited actually when that gets to that point. So
it's gonna be still a pain to get because I think by the time all the scenery's on it, the height of it might be more than 3 feet. So I'll have to make sure that any of the buildings I put on, like skyscrapers, I can take off.
Well, yeah,
so
like that's
fit through a door.
I think that's pretty typical for most like modular kind of things. Is that you take off most of the bigger buildings and like you could take off a lot of the scenery stuff, and you just kind of keep that in a separate box and just have it so you can just plop it in there.
Yeah.
I'm kind of working on that on my little layout right now too. So.
Yeah. So that's the the intent. I kind of wanted to be modern stuff. However,
yet we see in this photo 3 different GG1s.
I have a roster of like Pennsylvania Railroad power right now.
I guess
I just like couldn't help myself that I've got like 4 GG1s I think, and I've got 2 E5s, the box cabs.
Yeah, I forget what those ones are called.
The Broadway Limited ones. And I've got 2 K4s. Anyway, so the intent was that it was supposed to be a little bit more modern. I do have Amtrak equipment and whatnot. And then the other thing, though, the sort of side quest, is in addition to this being like a kind of difficult benchwork challenge and technical gradient challenge, is I've been wanting to have it actually be automatically controlled, so that the idea is that I could be just playing with one train, but then having like the computer sending out a bunch of other trains to populate it and give it the sort of density that the Northeast Corridor has with trains going out, so that the 4-track main line really seems like it's busy with things going on.
Where's that top-down photo? I just went by that. It looks really neat. Yeah.
Yeah, so this was from the mock-up I did in the front room. So you can kind of see here that there's 3 levels.
This is just you laying the track over it, so there's no like levels or anything.
Yeah, this one was just to like basically make sure that the whole thing fits, because I laid the whole thing out. I guess before I even got into N-scale at all.
Yeah, let's talk about it. How did you get into N-scale?
Well, honestly, I think it goes back to my thesis project in college. Was that I built City Hall. Obviously I like trains. There's a train podcast,
really?
Right?
Really?
And my thesis project, I wanted to do Penn Station as my thesis project. Now, this isn't like a PhD thesis. This was like an architectural thesis, so it's like a capstone project in college. So I wanted to do Penn Station. A lot of people had done Penn Station already, and so it kind of had too much other baggage kind of along with it. And there were other proposals for Penn Station to make a new Penn Station at the time. So I decided to do something closer to where I live. So I decided to do Philadelphia City Hall and basically redo the subway station underneath it, because that's the busiest the busiest train station, or like public transportation station in the whole region of Philadelphia. Like, you'd have to go to New York or Washington to find an area that has a higher density of people transferring from one train to another. So basically, I needed to do a model for that, and because I like trains, I'm like, oh well. HO is going to be way big. If I did a HO model of City Hall, it would be 8 feet tall. And it seemed like a 4-foot model would be about right. And that happened to work out to about N scale, because I wanted to put tracks into it to give a sense of the scale. So I built that in N scale like 10 years ago. And I think that kind of put N scale on my map, because I had originally, I do S scale, and I had been doing HO a little bit, at least with the club that me and Billy were in at the time. And I was doing S scale. N wasn't really on my radar except for this. And then much later on, like, Billy, you had mentioned that a friend of ours that was at our old club his son did a really nice N scale layout. And Billy was like, oh, Danny, you should see like the N scale stuff, because it's got really good detail now. It's not finicky. It's not, N scale had a reputation for a very long time as being extremely finicky, not reliable, etc., etc. But Billy, you showed me that layout and said that it ran great, and that the detail, they have steam locomotives. So for a long time, N-scale did not have steam locomotives that were detailed or ran well, but now they do. And that started to change my mind. I was like, oh, well, I live in a city, so I don't have a whole lot of space, and if I want to model passenger trains, which is kind of what I like most, with is public transit, passenger trains. That's what I grew up with. That's what I take the most. That N scale is going to be better, because in HO scale, to get a passenger train looking good along a curve, it's a massive curve that you need, and then you need a massive layout to make that look good. And I could fit a lot of stuff in N scale into a small package. So that's how N scale got on my radar. And then I went through a lot of different starts and fits about exactly what I wanted to do as a layout once I moved into my house here. But I originally was going to do, if you listen to our live thing, we talked about it there. It was a bunch of other layouts I looked at. I was going to do a Long Beach Island layout. I was going to do a Reading Terminal layout. All of those were HO. And then I just was like, all right, screw it. Do an N scale. And N scale also has some nice things. Like, since I like passenger trains, N scale is the most popular model train scale in Japan, so there's a bunch of Japanese bullet train prototypes and subway prototypes that you can buy that are really great Japanese models. It's also popular in Germany. So basically all the places that have the best transit infrastructure in the world, typically N-scale is very popular there. So that's another reason why N-scale, if you're interested in passenger trains, N-scale might be the better scale than HO, just because you'll be able to fit a lot more realism in the operation into N scale than maybe HO. HO, you're going to get more detail. You're still going to be more reliable in general. But now with Kato is a major Japanese manufacturer that has a big presence in the U.S., and the quality that they have brought to N scale in the U.S. market is amazing. The track system they have is very bulletproof and very reliable, and all the trains that they put out are very reliable. There's also Tomix, which is the other big Japanese manufacturer, but they don't have as big of a U.S. presence right now. And then in addition, Bachmann's been making N scale, and they've brought their quality up too. And then you have some other newer manufacturers like Broadwood Limited, which has a lot of detail. Maybe the reliability isn't quite there yet, but still they're putting out great steam engines, which is amazing in N scale. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox.
Why not? This is all about yours.
Oh, so yeah, so
I can't talk about your N scale stuff. It's too small. I can't see it.
So I started drawing it out before I'd even bought any N scale stuff, and I laid out the whole thing in AnyRail. Let me see if I think this is the first rendition, and basically what it's based on, it's based on a Kato Unitrack set. So Kato makes they have a snap track system that's very high quality. It's not necessarily the most realistic thing in the world, but it's very user friendly, high quality, very durable, very reliable, and also has super elevated curves. Isn't that cool? That I don't think that exists in N scale. I mean HO scale.
Yeah.
Right. So
Kato does make this kind of track in.
No, they do make Kato Unitrack in HO scale, but they don't have as many curve options, and I don't think they have the double track super elevated curves, right? So they make a set of super elevated curves that are double track that fit together, and they're called the V11 and V16. And basically, if you put these together, you can get a 4-track main line, which was bam! Oh dang, that's what I want. I want the goal. I mean, I know it's hilarious. It's people are like, oh, you can't fit a 4-track main line, and I probably can't actually. There's a lot of things there's a lot of trade-offs I have to make to fit a 4-track main line into this space, but in N scale, I think I'm able to get pretty freaking close. But Kato makes these two train. Basically, you can just buy a track set from them, and you just get those two, and you just need a couple extra straights, and then that's basically what my entire layout is based on. It's a dog bone shape of 4 tracks that go all the way around, and then that's what I was based on. So if you look at my screen, it's the bit in the top. So that's just the 2 Kato sets put together, and that's super elevated, and it's pretty neat. And then my first rendition was to basically take that, would you call it a dog bone shaped?
It's kind of dog bone shaped, yeah.
Yeah, and then try to basically build ramps into it so that on one bit of the dog bone it goes down to a level at the bottom that acts as staging and as, in my case, pen station. And then another ramp that takes the 2 of the tracks up to another level where there'd be a terminal station with 1 balloon track to turn the trains around. And then that's basically the layout. And so what that gives you is... let me switch to the other one. So I laid out AnyRail and tried to get all the radiuses right, try to make sure it could fit into the space that I had available. And it did, and I was able to kind of test it out, and it seems it works. And I had maybe a little bit of analysis paralysis, because... let's see. So there's the bottom level, roughly.
So what do we got here? We got... What is that? 4. So they're basically 4 tracks that loop around each other for the Penn Station. So there's total 8 tracks in Penn Station. Is that right? Am I counting that right?
Yeah. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with 4 platforms, which isn't exactly like Penn Station, but it kind of is. And then they loop around in a big dog bone, which in I think my first rendition it was a little bit different because I just wasn't able to fit it together in the space as well. It had a more symmetrical plan. But then when I looked at some of the Penn Station layouts and trying to fit it better, I modified it and it seems to work pretty well.
Gotcha. And then that all funnels down into 2 tracks, 1 inbound, 1 outbound, basically, right?
Yeah, and this is a little bit outdated because I did add there's a crossover that sits right here as well. At the throat of it. So that lets you basically use this as a gigantic reversing loop if you want. That did massively complicate the wiring.
Yeah, I remember you were like, how am I doing this? It's
still kind of an issue. So basically all of Penn Station is a reversing loop. And then I have reversing sections.
How many cars have you melted?
Only one. Only one car. It's fine, right? Oh, I've only melted one. It's totally fine. It's funny because I think the one I melted, I don't think I even melted it on that bit. I think it just derailed somewhere, and because I didn't have enough connectors, like track connectors, it didn't trip it, and it just melted the axle off.
Is that a daylight car?
That's a daylight car. I was able to get another replacement truck. No big deal. So
okay, good.
No harm, no foul. Luckily, they still have replacement trucks available, like $5, so not bad at all.
Nice.
But that's the moral of the story. You need to make sure if you're using DCC that you use the I think it's the quarter method. Like you get a quarter and you stick it between the tracks, and if it doesn't trip your circuit breaker on your transformer or command state, I think they're called command stations, right?
Yeah.
Then you need to add another jumper to that particular area.
Mm-hmm.
So that happened when I was doing my
test layout,
which this is it in the front room, and that was all done with like foam from packaging.
Like I really liked the way that looked. Like I know you're like that's not right, and I'm like I kind of like the way it looked. Where it was just, all white and everything. It looked very architectural. Like,
yeah, I don't disagree with you. It looked pretty cool.
I kind of want your current one to be similar to that almost. That'd be kind of really cool. Like if you kept all of the buildings in that kind of like grayscale kind of thing, it would be very. And then I don't know, it'd be kind of more of an art piece than specifically a Madeira. But obviously, it's your thing, so you obviously you probably want to do it the way you want.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I'll probably paint it gray or white to start with.
So what is the scenery for this going to look like when you plan to do it?
Yeah, so because I'm an architect, so I'm able to model some things, and not to say that I did it well, because that's always the problem, is like I could probably do it, I could always do it better. But I took it into Revit, which is, it's called BIM software, Building Information Modeling. I obviously have my house modeled to a certain extent in it. And AnyRail is what the software I use to plan the actual track layout on. And Billy, do you use that for yours?
I used it played with it a little bit. I actually used a Mac program called Rail Modeler.
Rail Modeler. Okay, I haven't used that. But
it's
AnyRail,
only available on Mac, so.
Oh, cool. Yeah, AnyRail is pretty nice because it has a library track already built in. It costs like $60, but I think it's more than worth it. They automatically snap together, and then in addition to that, you can punch in gradients, and then you can export it as a 3D model. And I was able to bring that into my house model, and then started basically putting in like little mock-ups for the buildings in there to get a sense of scale and how it fit into the room. So here, I've got the 3D version of the track plan, which is not exactly how it ended up getting built, because it includes like a staging area that I simplified. But you can see in this that I've got the train shed over on the upper right, sort of tucked into the corner, a lot like Reading Terminal was. And then I'll have some sort of major skyscraper on the left side.
Did you just make one like that?
I did. Let me see if I can pull up a picture. Now, funny enough, I don't know.
Did you just drop the ones you just put in there? Like, I'm gonna put a stadium in. Boom.
Well, unfortunately, the stadium is way bigger than. So the stadium is 4 feet wide, so it's wider than the whole thing. But
so is that the thing?
That's the skyscraper that I did. This is not the final version of it, because when you 3D print things, oftentimes you have to add supports to them to make sure they 3D print properly. So this is not the cleaned up model, but that's the size of the model. It just has some protuberances on it. That's not where it ended up going. If I put it in here, it ended up going near Penn Station, not near Reading Terminal. But that's it. Neat. I thought it kind of looked pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
So we go kind of on the left side, and then I have.
And where's Godzilla gonna go?
I don't know. And that's like another fun thing with N scale. I mean, just with any scale, there's a lot of like adjacent scales you might be able to use for different things. But N scale is very close to some of the Gunpla scales. So 1 to 144 is a common Gunpla scale, which is model Gundams. And then I have some Godzillas that are about the right size. So as I'm constructing this, I want to have its like areas of it that are still in construction. It's like, oh, Godzilla's there. Like the Gundams are having a battle. So that's why it's not all constructed properly. Yeah, so that's...
I think it'll be pretty neat.
It'll be pretty fun. And then this is some of the wiring I'm starting to prep for the... two things I have to consider with this particular layout is that I wanted to have it so I could detach all the electronics, so I could keep the electronics in... Like, let's say if I wanted to put this in a storage unit, I could pop out the electronics, store them in a climate controlled, like in my house, and then I could store the model in the storage unit that might get hot. So I have some buses that are wired up, and then in addition to that, I have all block detection on the entire layout. It's not totally functional, but it's sort of functional. So that's a Digitrax BDO 128. 128? I think that's it. Now they made a new board that I haven't used yet, but I use a train software called iTrain that is it's Dutch, a Dutch software company that will actually automatically move trains around on the layout. I've tested it. It works. Basically, the issue with my particular layout, because of a bunch of gradients in it, it doesn't compensate for the gradients. And so I need to make sure that I have my detection sections short enough that the area that you get from the gradient changes and the speed won't throw off the computer. Because basically, the computer only knows what the inputs are. So if you don't have enough inputs, like if the block detection sections are too long, then it won't. The precision gets worse and worse. And so I've been trying to add more block detection sections to get it to be more accurate.
Gotcha.
But if I had it flat, I probably would have been able to get away with a lot less. But alas, what are you gonna do?
That's pretty neat, though.
Yeah, and I'm like kind of surprised that it's worked out as well as it has, as I thought I would be, like I wouldn't be able to make the gradients work with the train sizes I want. So there are some limitations. Like I can't have a GG1 pull like 15 cars. I can have a GG1 pull like 8 cars, which I think is fine for my purposes. But
yeah,
maybe
15
for some
cars,
folks,
might be a little overkill for that. No, I guess
yeah,
not.
so basically it can't pull the full Broadway limited set that it came with. I have to take a couple cars off.
Stupid question.
Yeah.
Didn't they like double head them half the time anyway?
They sometimes did, but often they did not.
Got it. Okay.
Because a GG1 could pull.
Yeah, they're
they're very strong.
Yeah.
They would usually double head the K4s.
Doesn't that daylight look great?
With just 2 cars.
I don't care. Looks great.
Yeah, the daylight set's a pain in the ass because first, the daylight locomotive, I think the gears are screwed up on it. I've got to replace the gears on it. Second, it has a bunch of articulated cars where they're super cool, but because of my vertical gradients, they do not like it. And then the vertical transitions, it also doesn't like either. Anyway, yeah, so it's been a thing, and it.
Did you see, Danny? I think I messaged you this today on Instagram. Did you see that Broadway is coming out with ES44 AC and PRR?
Oh, Pennsylvania. Yeah, that's cool. Now, is that the Heritage unit, or is that just the...
I'm pretty sure that's like... I think that's a
fantasy scheme?
Fantasy scheme.
Oh, well, I guess they have an audience right here. Now, unfortunately, I'm broke right now, so if anyone out there wants to buy me one of these, that would be great. But, but
hey, it's a Train World exclusive.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Train World. Hey.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. You know that.
Probably not.
But I think I was like, oh man, I saw those. I'm like, oh, they'd be perfect because you were like, oh, I need some modern things, but most of your stuff is Pennsylvania Railroad.
Yeah, it's kind of like as if the Pennsylvania Railroad never won out, and ideally, I would also have. Well, yeah, I guess I have the 2 freight ones that that have like electrified freight on it as well.
Yeah.
Cool. But yeah, I'm excited to get into more of the modeling because I think I'm pretty close to starting to get the scenery in. Because the track layout is almost complete. Reading Terminal is still has some work to be done. There's still some zhuzhing. I maybe some experimentation I want to have with the Reading Terminal section to get it to be a little bit more like actual Reading Terminal. So actual Reading Terminal had double slip switches, which Kato does not make, but other manufacturers make them, like Tomix. And Tomix, I bought one of them, and I just want to put it in the layout and see how the trains go over them. And then I could have a track plan for Reading Terminal that will be a little bit more prototypical to what the actual Reading Terminal track plan was. Because basically the operational thing I'd like to get to happen is have like 2 trains going in and out of the terminal at the same time. Which right now, with the way I have it, that would be kind of difficult.
Gotcha.
But if I'm able to get some double slip switches in there, then maybe it'll work. But I don't know. Some of the rolling stock I have might not play nice with that, so I'm just going to have to experiment.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Anyway, yeah, so I'm excited to start modeling this stuff because it's...
I'm excited to start seeing it, like, start to come together. So I'm like,
Yeah,
it's already come together, and I'm like, I want to see it start looking pretty.
Yeah, I think the thing I'd love to do is I want to design like a classical train station. So I've been thinking a lot about what the Penn Station building will look like. My current thought is that it'd be like if you took 30th Street Station, and 30th Street Station is like a big rectangle, right? So kind of like a Greek, like the Parthenon or something like that. But what if you took a Reading Terminal and made it more like the Pantheon, which would be like a dome, something like Cincinnati Union Terminal? But with like columns on the outside, more like the Pantheon or the Temple at Delphi. So that'll be some interesting things going on there, or maybe kind of like the Columbia University Library. But with my resin printer, I should be able to get a lot of detail into that print.
And you only lose like a year off your life every time you use it.
Yeah. But I think now with I bought an air quality monitor that can detect volatile organic compounds and formaldehyde in the air, and it was fine. So, but seriously, it is dangerous, so you want to be careful with the resin stuff because it is nasty. If I had known how bad it is, I probably would not have gotten it, but alas.
And yet the first time you're like, let's just boot it up in the house.
Yeah, it'll be fine. I don't know. Yeah, what other feature of my plan is that, like, the left side of it is, it kind of has a lot of that gradient change, and it almost looks like a flying junction like you'd find at Zoo Interlocking by the Philadelphia Zoo in Philadelphia, which at one point was the largest interlocking in the world. But it's a very Pennsylvania Railroad kind of thing, and even like a British kind of thing that have flying junctions separating track levels. You don't see that as much out west, so I think it's like something I kind of really like about this particular area of the modeling. And what that allows you to do is to have it so that the 4-track main line operates like the 4-track main line on the NEC. So it's not like you have 2 double-track main lines next to each other, right? Which would be, one's coming northbound, southbound, right? Mine would not operate like that. Mine would be northbound, southbound, like the NEC does now.
Yeah, it's
and
pretty
that
neat.
allowed you to do that. And then I have some grand visions of like I'm going to try to add like a tram level between the two. That's why the NEC bit, like the 4-track, is so high above the level below. Is because I want to add another level for the trolleys to go onto.
Is that still in the plan, or?
It's still in the plan. Yeah. Do you see that little like loop right there?
Yeah.
That's the trolley, which is Kato Unitrack.
So it's basically a little like figure 8.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Got it.
And Kato makes track for that, and then I basically integrate that into the city. And then I have visions of grandeur that even like connect it to the other side and have like a
just
little
so you know,
diesel.
we are not sponsored by Kato at all. Kato, unless you want to change that. Hashtag not sponsored. I stole that from other podcasts, Danny.
Hashtag not sponsored? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Sponsors. Think about it. But of course, this is the one episode we drop the most F-bombs, and we're like, oh yeah, sponsors, come over here. It's fine.
You can bleep them all out. They're all in the same area, Danny.
I'm not bleeping it out, Billy.
Fine.
You can bleep it out if you want.
Eh.
Yeah, so that's my layout. So right now, it's supposed to be the East Coast corridor, but really, it's the spaghetti and Western at the moment.
Or is it like the spaghetti and Northeast corridor?
It would have been nicer if like the spaghetti and Western, if I actually was like a Western railroad. That would be like a nice concept for a railroad.
Well,
like spaghetti, Western.
There are Eastern railroads that said and Western, and never really made it out west.
No, but it'd be like you take a spaghetti Western.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that'd be fun.
You know what I mean? Like, and you have like, people like shootouts going on, and whatever. Cowboys. Yeah, wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I wish I took a longer video of this stuff, because I think I only have like one video of like the train actually going on.
I know, that's what I've been getting. Like, I've been looking through my stuff too, and like
I don't. What is this video? What am I?
I don't know.
Doing?
You're seeing your knee.
There's my knee. Okay, there's my dirty basement. Good video, Dan.
But like, it takes like what, like 8 minutes for the whole thing to go around the whole thing.
Not quite. I think it takes 2.5 minutes. I think this one shows it going all the way around, but it also was like going at a pretty good clip, and I don't think I adjusted the speed at all for the whole thing. So if it's like a normal train, it takes a little bit of time to make it all the way around. So it may be like probably 3 minutes at like a reasonable speed. Look at how clean my basement was at one point.
Yeah, wow, what happened there?
Oh my gosh. So I put down some of the track, and you could just see the crap accumulating everywhere. So I initially tried to build it out of like the hardboard because it was white, but it just wasn't strong enough. And then I basically, the technique I did is I built it all flat and then started jacking it up. Other point of information, if anyone's listening to this that is interested in the Blue Comet, is that the Microtrains did a set of Blue Comet coaches, and they match almost perfectly to the colors that Broadway Limited did for their coaches. So they match up pretty well. Unfortunately, the couplers don't match up that well. So that's kind of a bummer. But
you should get an AEM 7.
They don't make them in N scale.
There's that guy that 3D prints them.
Yeah, I could probably 3D print one.
Get him.
Yeah, but the painting, man, that's the problem with 3D printing, like locomotives and stuff, is painting them. I think is just such a pain in the butt. Look at how dirty my basement got. Oh my gosh, I still need to clean it.
Get like a vacuum.
I have a vacuum. I think I have vacuumed it a few times.
Yeah, probably had to. Oh man, that looks so good with like all the lights in the trains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was without me adding the third level.
Oh yeah, it just ends.
So because I was able to add these.
I want to see the train just fly off
the end. Yeah. I have these two crossovers there that let you basically operate.
Oh yeah, I was like, wow, they're about to go on the level that's gonna fly off.
Yeah. It's almost like I thought about it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Does this one have all of them? Let's see. Yeah, I think it does.
Has all the levels?
Yeah.
All 4 hey, GG1.
Yeah, and then I have like a freaking Hitachi Great Western Railroad on the bottom.
Nice.
From Britain.
There you go. Yeah, it's a pretty good video of it. Just kind of showing a lot of it. So you see the GG1 going into Penn Station on the bottom. You see a GG1 coming up off the second level. And then one coming up onto the third level in the same one. That's pretty good.
Yeah, so
I think one of your problems is the reason you haven't gotten a really long one is because it's hard to get, like, it's in your basement, so it's hard to get further back. Like when it was in your sunroom,
front room, yeah,
it was it had a lot more. You had a lot more room to kind of like step back.
Yeah. Can I share something kind of gross?
I don't know. Depends.
Okay, one benefit of this where it is right now, I have my bathroom is right next to this.
Yeah, you've told me about this. Yeah, it's
one of the finer things in life. I'm not gonna say anything more.
Why not? Danny,
I think
you could
the
say
throne. I get a perfect view from my throne. And the dream is that with it all being automatically controlled, is that you could just be like running, and I'm just there.
Don't you have a Wi-Fi throttle for it? You could.
Oh no, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, you could just straight up control that from the toilet. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna be able to control like 4 trains at once.
Yeah, that seems like you'd be.
Or like 5. So basically, I've gotten I think 6 trains running at the same time.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So you're able to get, if everything works well, which it sometimes will, the density you can get out of it is pretty cool. But I mean, at that point, it starts becoming more like slot car racing, you know?
Yeah, it's still fun.
Still fun, yeah. Yeah, nothing wrong with slot cars, right?
Like, this is funny, because it's, like, almost the antithesis to what I'm trying to model with my things.
Yeah, yours
Mine are, like, I want to do some, like, slow switching and stuff like that. And you're like, nah, I want to go fast, and I want to go in a lot of circles.
100 miles an hour.
I want to go in so many circles.
So many circles, yeah.
But yeah, so like, yeah, it's funny. Like, the things I'm doing, like, oh yeah, I'm going to do a little baby switching layout. It's going to be... You know, you can take your time switching it and stuff like that. You can't even do a loop on that one.
Yeah, do I have more, let's see.
We're a podcast, Danny. We're supposed to talk. I'm supposed to talk now because you're not talking?
Yeah, talk.
All right.
This shows you I have like a little sub-assembly that has the track detection, the detection
little
stuff.
detector things. How well have you gotten that to work at all yet? Or
Yeah, no, I've tested it out. It kind of works. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now that you're almost done with your architecture stuff, you should look at this again. Try to get it going.
Yeah, I'm really excited to do it.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Look at all these trains.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
So many trains.
If it loads.
Come on, load.
Come on. Well, Billy, you have access to these. Are you able to pull them up? Maybe your connection's better than mine.
I don't know. But at this point, I don't know. Are we talking about it anymore? Or are you just showing people videos on a podcast so nobody listens, so nobody watches it?
Yeah. All right. Well, I think this gave. I mean, it's gonna be a lot of scenery, a lot of buildings, and frankly, I haven't done a whole lot of scenery. Now, I guess it's not that much. It's like a very, it's not like a huge layout, but I think the success of it. I don't know. A little nervous about the scenery.
You'll
I'm
get
kind of
it.
excited to put up catenary though. That'll be kind of fun.
That'll be cool.
I can 3D print the catenary structures. That'll be pretty sweet.
Put it this way, Danny, you have always been more artistic than me, and I am currently trying to do scenery, and I've been very intimidated by it, and having this little layout that I'm working on right now is very much helping with that. And I'm being like, oh, these things aren't actually that hard.
Yeah. Well, man, I've been talking about my layout for like a freaking hour.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my god.
I'm not even going to be able to talk about mine.
Layout? What layout, Billy?
Exactly.
Oh, I got Godzilla on there.
There you go.
Of course. Right.
I think you're just showing photos, Danny. I think we're done.
We're done. All right.
I think we're done. You're just showing photos of your thing. Because when we get to just showing photos on an audio podcast...
I think most people watch it on YouTube, but...
That's true, but we're still technically
an
audio podcast,
why don't we, do you want to talk about yours, Billy?
I don't know. Do we want to? It's like 11:18
it's like
at
11.
night.
I'm tired. You're tired.
What time are we at? We are at 54 minutes.
We ate too much spaghetti at this Spaghetti and Western.
We did, but you know what? I'm going to try to throw mine in there because it's fun and it's little. So I think I can talk about it in a short period of time.
Funny enough, it's not that much smaller than mine.
It's 2 foot by 5 foot.
Well, mine is 3 foot 6 by 11 feet.
That is more than double mine.
Okay, I guess fair enough.
So, I have been wanting to, especially since I joined the Model Train People server, Discord server, and they have a little meetup in our area. I've been wanting to make something that I can bring to things. And I've been always kind of fascinating with the little switching puzzles things that were a lot of them came over from the UK.
Did they? That was like a thing. British people
British people love a good switching puzzle because a lot really there's a much bigger culture around making a small layout, doing some scenery, and bringing it to different conventions.
Yeah, that's the thing I feel like we're missing over here is watching the British stuff. They're always talking about the exhibition layouts, and that's like what people aspire to have. Where here it's like much more emphasis on the home layout. And not bringing layouts to places, because you go to like a train show, there'll be like three big modular layouts, a couple small ones, and that's it. I think if you go to a British one, there's going to be like dozens and dozens of little tiny layouts there, right?
Yeah, exactly. At least that's the impression I get.
At least I've only seen the YouTube videos of it.
Yeah.
When I was over there, I would have loved to have gone to like one of those.
That would have been fun.
But oh well. I did buy trains when I was over there,
but I just think it's the different ways things have they have.
Other nice thing about N scale. You can bring them on planes a little bit easier.
I guess.
You can bring a lot more trains.
All right. So, back to my thing. So, Inglenook. Inglenooks were a type of layout that...
And it's interesting. An Inglenook is an architectural thing. That's
really?
That's an area beside a fire or a hearth. It's called the Inglenook.
Huh. So let's see here. Let's take a look at these photos here.
So I wonder why it's called an Inglenook, because I guess it comes like a cozy little layout, right? It could fit in an Inglenook, like something by your.
I believe it actually
fireplace.
Was named after a place called Inglenook.
Oh.
So at least that was my idea. Is that the town little thing that you were doing was called Inglenook. So Inglenook is actually a really simple track plan. The idea is you have a switching lead. And you have a track that can hold 5 cars and 2 tracks that hold 3 cars. You kind of see that illustrated here. I stole these from the internet. So you can see here you have the lead, which can hold 3 cars and the engine. And then here's the one that you can get 5 cars on. This one you get 3 cars on, and this one you get 3 cars on. Usually you try to make them all about the same size, so then you don't mess with it. Basically,
same size cars.
Same size cars. So I'm using on mine. I developed it with 40-foot box cars, 40-foot cars, because I'm doing a kind of around steam time. So
yeah, I had figured out one with passenger cars, obviously significantly longer. So you just end up getting longer.
So but the idea is that you can you'll try to randomly make up a 5-car train. So, like, you can either have it that they're on, like, little cards that you can shuffle up and figure out which ones you want of the 8. So you have 8 cars on this layout. And then you will try to make up a 5-car train from those 8 cars in a specific order. But the problem is, on a regular layout, usually you try to give yourself a really long lead so you can pull out a whole string of cars at once and easily sort them. The problem is here, your lead only allows you to pull out 3 cars at a time, so you kind of have to think about how you want to move the cars around to get those 5 cars in the right order. And it kind of simulates an idea of like in a switching yard where you're trying to make up a train to go in a specific place, knowing that you have to maybe do this for drop off first, second, third, fourth. But it's not really it's not 100% prototypical that way. So I've been kind of toying with that. There's another famous one called a time saver, which is that's actually based on an American. There was an American thing. I think that was John Allen. I think, and that's got a lot more switches and stuff in it. And I wanted to keep mine fairly simple.
Yeah.
So basically, I wanted to make this exhibition kind of layout, but I wanted it also like. The other half of it was I wanted to make it so that it would be a test for me to do scenery. Because as I was saying before, I haven't really done anything scenic. This whole layout up here, it's all plywood right now.
Plywood.
So it's like I want to try to
play with scenery before I start really playing with it, trying to put it on this. So, and then I was like kind of looking around, being like, all right, do I feel like trying to build something out of it? Your typical kind of like layout would be like I kind of played with this as a 1x6 design. I realized that a 1x6 would kind of be a pain to get in my car because I have a smaller car. Then I realized I had a door just sitting in the corner of my attic here. There's a 2-foot by 5-foot door that somebody got cut down, and I grabbed it from somebody. And I started playing on my track planning software, and I kind of came up with something like this.
I really like the curve.
Yeah, that's how I get it to fit in there. And I was kind of being like, okay, how do I justify the curve and stuff like that? So originally I was going to try and make this be like, all right, what would be kind of an area where you'd have to do something like an Inglenook switching puzzle? And I was thinking like a freight house. Specifically, I was actually inspired by a freight house that...
Is that Trenton?
That is Trenton. This is the Reading, Trenton, not West Trenton, but Trenton Station. You can see here there's a bunch of different tracks going in. There's a stub end terminal. It is. I saw this photo on Facebook, and I had never seen it before, like a few months ago, and I was like, that'd make a good layout.
There's a lot of fascinating details in here.
I've always been fascinated in this area of Trenton. I always thought it'd make a really good Inglenook or a really good switching layout. But I never found a really good photo from this angle with all the track in it. I've just found like the track plans, and I'm like, that looks so good.
The more I look at this photo, the more details jump out at me. So the photo is rough. It's probably like 1905, something like that. There's a little Camelback steamer there, right?
Yeah.
And the passenger coaches look to be open vestibules, right?
Yeah.
And so means it's probably like pre-1920s. I think one is steel and one is wood. So it's probably early teens maybe.
Might even take in early 1920s kind of thing.
Yeah. So in addition to that, you can see I think it's the passenger station in the middle, and then to the left is the freight terminal. Is that right?
Yeah.
And then they have the Reading Railroad is famous for their banjo style signals. So on the right, the very right bit of the photo, there's the famous. Well, I don't know if it's that famous. I guess it's famous to me. Maybe it's just distinctive banjo signal style on the right, and then they have like a little. It almost looks like a treehouse for whoever's controlling the gates that go across. So there's like a little, like Victorian, like who knows? Probably Frank Furness designed it.
I feel like I've seen that in like O-Gauge somewhere.
Yeah, I feel like someone makes it, but it's really adorable. And then in addition to that, like the thing that also sets it is they have like the Battle of Trenton monument in the very left of it, which took me a second to see that because it's kind of blown out. But like, I should 3D print that for you. You can stick that on there.
Well, here's the fun part. I looked at this, I almost did it, and then I'm like, nah, that's not what I'm going with.
Oh, you're not doing it. Oh, what are you doing?
But I thought it was cool, and I still might try to do something with it at some point. But I was looking at it, and I really liked the idea of being
farm.
A farmy kind of thing. So there's a few places. Let me stop sharing here.
Hopewell.
Kind of more.
Yeah, because Hopewell had a team track. It had 2 tracks, and then like one that came off as well. So it had three sidings.
This was really an amalgamation of what is two railroads that 2 railroad areas, and so both the Pennsylvania Railroad in like Mount Holly, and the Union Transportation Company, which was actually kind of a little bit of a famous thing. It is now a rail trail out by I think it's like in Monmouth and Ocean counties, a little bit in Mercer too. But it was a small agricultural railroad that was kind of absorbed by the Pennsylvania Railroad. It was basically leased by the Pennsylvania Railroad, and like still given some autonomy, which was interesting.
Sounds almost like the Tuckerton Railroad too.
Yeah, and they used for a very long time these 440 Americans you see here. And actually, the big thing it's kind of named to fame is that it was the last holdout of steam on the Pennsylvania Railroad. because there was a weird thing in the lease where they were required, the Pennsylvania Railroad was required to give them a steam engine. So if I remember correctly, I think this was the last steam engine on the Pennsylvania Railroad operating.
It was like in the 1960s or something?
1959.
59.
I believe is when it last went out. So
which is crazy because 59 Norfolk and Western was still having steam then.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Is that right?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. So, but like this little 060 was like the last one on the Pennsylvania Railroad.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's just this little agricultural line, and I've biked this line, so it's kind of cool. Where it'd be like, oh, this is a neat trestle thing. I didn't get to choose to put the trestle in the layout where it is right now, but like, oh, look at that. That's like the perfect thing for a little switching layout, you know? And there was like a New Egypt was kind of like its bigger area.
And that would be like if there was like Fort Dix or something, would that be, it would have
this
to go
went
into
to Fort Dix.
Yeah, okay. That's
Fort Dix is actually one of the big like things on the line. The problem is then the Pennsylvania Railroad connected in from Mount Holly, the other area I was thinking of doing, that I was kind of like, this is kind of an amalgamation of, to Fort Dix. And they kind of took most of the traffic then. Because they're like, hey, we're not going to give this little line any much traffic. So really this line was mostly like, it carried a lot of like milk. It did a lot of like livestock. It did a lot of like grain and stuff like that. It was like very much an agricultural railroad. And that's kind of what I'm going for. Really what kind of bent me over and decided to do this kind of thing instead of the freight terminal is that my daughter really likes farms and barns and cows and stuff like that, and I'm like, I could put one on here. Yeah. And like we can then we can like kind of try to make it together. Get some cows, get some horses, get some pigs. Throw all the animals
model
on
a
it.
slaughterhouse, Billy. That'll go great. Get those Swift reefers in there,
I kind of on my other layout. I kind of am. I got Taylor pork roll.
Set of the pork roll. Get the piggies.
This is a tangent, but I had an idea for a while because
you should get a little smello meter so that smells like a slaughterhouse and have pigs.
No, what I was thinking about doing on my layout for a bit would be, it'd be really cool. It's like I'll have each industry have like a little itsy bitsy speaker, and I can have like, so it's like, in the steel mill I could have it making steel sounds, stuff like that. It's like, in the pottery thing we could have it making different kinds of stuff. Then I got over the Taylor pork roll, and I was like,
just pigs.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I want that. So we're not going to say what they're doing, and so at this the thing. So it's like, as I said, I want kind of like a farm town.
But what might be fun is if you got the stock cars that make noises.
That was what I was thinking. They also have in HO. They have the stock cars where like
they have that in N scale, by the way, too.
With the guys that kind of like the horses and cows that kind of stick their heads out.
Yeah, and the ones that like when you bump them, like they'll make a sound.
Yeah, and Bobby will probably like that.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I was kind of going with. Also,
you can put missiles on it. That's cool.
There's the Mount Holly freight station.
Cute train. Yeah, it looks like there's a kit that makes that. That looks like something you.
It's very close to the. I think it's Maywood. Atlas makes it.
Yeah.
Station. That I really like. So I was like, that could be my freight station. This is kind of like the area, so I figure it'll have a. Where's the photo? It won't let me go any further. Enhance. So yeah, there's the freight station and there's the passenger station over here, and I like that. I know from looking at this that there was a few industrial tracks that were off to the left of the freight station. Looks like a team track, coal dump. Like a coal trestle and stuff like that. So that's kind of the stuff I want to do. I want to kind of like do a little town and like what would have.
Yeah.
So, what I did was, let me go back to my photos. So I then came up with this.
Look at that.
So Here,
got colors on that, Billy. It's looking good.
I tried, kind of. So this is the plan right now. So you got the track lead over here. It's curved to make it fit in the 5-foot by 2-foot door and still work with those, hey, I need to fit 3 passenger cars and an engine. And I've been basing this on the 40-foot... What?
Passenger cars?
No, 4-foot freight cars.
Oh, 40-foot. Okay, yeah. You said passenger cars.
Oh, sorry. 40-foot freight cars
I got you.
and steam engine. So I'm doing basically on like an 060, but really I've been able to, with it, I can fit my consolidations on there too.
Nice.
So I think that would work pretty well. And the idea of
another
this,
nice thing is you could attach this to the rest of your layout if you wanted to, right?
I have no idea where the heck I would do that. I guess so.
But you theoretically could attach it to
possibly,
something.
yeah. But the idea actually, my idea is I can attach a cassette to it.
Yeah.
Which is just like a single track that does it, and there's no scenery. And that'll let me operate it as like a real railroad instead of having to be restricted to the Inglenook switching puzzle.
Yeah, the cassette could then interact with your other railroad too.
Yeah, exactly. But as I said, this is kind of made to be.
Yeah, there's a surprisingly large amount of track plans. I forget who the guy is. There's one guy just pumps out track plans.
Yeah.
And he often will employ 2 completely separate areas and use a cassette to go between the 2.
Yeah. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But
you have to make sure your cassette's nice and padded so you don't screw up your trains.
Yeah, this is all Code 100 track. I actually use Flex Track for this, but I based it on the 18-inch things. These are number 4 turnouts. And then, so I was kind of right now I'm thinking there's going to be a livestock pen, so we can do it. Freight station, a coal trestle with little coal dump down here, and this will be a team track. So for those that don't know what a team track is, that is basically where at a freight station, you would have usually smaller parcels and smaller stuff coming off of freight cars, box cars, stuff from box cars. Stuff like that, and from REA, refrigerator cars. Team track would be for unloading things that you would need a crane for, or if you want to just drive at the time, where the name came from, a team of horses with a cart up to it and just straight offload whatever it is from a gondola, box car,
if you had less
car.
than carload kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, even a carload for people for industries that aren't located on the railroad.
Yeah.
It would be used for. So you can drive your cart or truck right up to the side of it and offload it into the truck.
So what era are you going to do?
This is roughly basically the same thing I'm doing for this, where it's 1930s. I'm a little looser with this.
You going to have horses on there?
I think I might. This.
I've always wanted to model like an old dirt road with horses on it.
You see this here? You see this road going up the hill here? That is what's going to be.
Ruts in the road.
That is what I want to do. It's not even. It's going to barely be a road. It's going to be basically 2 ruts in the thing going up to the farm.
Put
and
a little
barn.
bit of the polyurethane in there and
Yeah, that's just it. We'll see if I do it. So I got a freight station, then a regular passenger station here. I'll hopefully have this. These might actually not be dirt roads that go into this town. These might be paved, but the going up the hill to the barn and the farmhouse, that'll be it. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Yeah. And then I'm going to have a little a merchant row kind of thing. That's a specific model that Walthers makes.
Nice.
So it's basically I think it's 4 or 5 buildings that are just next to each other for a little thing. So I started building it. Let's see here. This is me testing it out. Kind of thing. As you see, there's the steam engine.
And it works? It's all good?
It works. So that's just testing it out on the door. As you see, it's very much a door there.
I thought that other bit goes straight. Oh, yeah, it's like that.
Yeah. So as I said, this is when I was testing it out. I was like, okay, do I like this? And I kind of wanted there to be more room on the in between these tracks so I can have the team track area. Because I didn't like them when they were all right next to each other. That would be probably more if I did that freight terminal.
I feel like it's always a good thing to try to test out everything as you're starting to design and assemble it. I mean, you don't want to get too far. You don't want to have analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
Analysis paralysis? Okay.
Yeah.
But you want to test things and make sure it works the way you're intending it to.
Yeah. So But I did that. As I said, I have, and here's the thing, for me, I have ADHD, so I was like, and this gave me a specific deadline, because I know their next thing they're doing for the model train people, the next meetup they're doing is, I think, August 2nd. So I was like, I want to have something that is in somewhat of a condition to run by then. And so I started this like a month ago. I think this was like June 20th. So yeah, almost exactly, less than a month ago. Then I put foam on it, glued it down, bought the foam. I'm like, I'm doing this. I started building the little trestle. That's a kit from Walthers as well. Those little handrails on the little uprights on the railings are a pain in the butt. There's supposed to be like double them that are in this, but they all broke. Oops. We painted it. Me and my daughter actually helped me paint the surface of it, and she got a fun time with that. She enjoyed that, and then I started putting down cork. This is like, so to give you an idea, me and Danny have done a lot of layouts. We have never gotten to the point of putting down cork.
Yeah.
Never. We have just been like, I like
because mine's a Kato Unitrack.
Exactly. So it's always been like, so this was like a thing, a block in my mind. I need to figure out
it's like
how
a
to
real
do this.
model railroad, Billy.
Exactly. That's the idea. So, put the cork down, got it running. It's running on it. Yay. Then another mental block. As I said, this is just bringing down mental blocks. And that's what I said. The reason painting stuff. I have been always intimidated by painting stuff. And I painted this.
Look at that. You painted that. Woo! Good job, Billy.
It's mostly black, but there is slight hints of brown in there. But it's supposed to be covered in coal anyway, so it kind of works. But yeah, so but that was actually one that I had trouble with. Because at first I painted it, and apparently I never knew this. But if you actually read the instructions, you got to wash it first.
Yeah, wash it.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I did know it, and I just was being lazy.
Didn't do it, yeah.
Let's be honest.
Well, I feel like if you're using maybe like a crappy like acrylic paint, you probably could get away with it. But
this is a crappy acrylic paint.
Oh, okay. So it didn't adhere well, and it like started.
No, it didn't at all. So, and the problem is that it probably would have if I was doing a thicker thing, but I was really just trying to do a black wash on it to get really into crisp. And then I basically was like, well, that didn't work, and now it looks like crud. So then I basically painted it black because, as I said, when you layer it on, it worked. And then I dry brushed on some brown, and that's kind of what gives it a little bit of color now. Then I guess I put down the glue. I glued down the cork after I committed to it. I did glue, and I also put down with a bunch of stuff. I even bought
static grass.
I bought a static grass applicator.
Oh, Billy! Oh,
I
man.
did it. I'm trying to do this.
You didn't paint the foam before you did it?
This is just a test piece.
Oh.
This is like I bought the thing. I wanted to see how it worked, and I did it.
Now, some of the like the miniature folks I follow, they'll like just paint the whole thing after that. Like they'll get a airbrush and just paint everything after it.
What do you mean by paint? What do you mean?
Like they'll just spray over all of the static grass.
They'll spray over the static grass.
Yeah, they'll just spray on top of it. Yeah.
I don't have one of those, so I probably won't do that yet. Then, guess what? Rona, I wired it.
Those fancy connectors.
I got those little connectors.
Look at
and those fancy connectors are called...
Box connect? I don't know.
What are they called again? I can't remember.
I don't know.
Clip connectors. It's like blade connectors, something like that. I think those are blade connectors, and I can't remember what that's called. I wanted to call it a box, like backpack or suitcase. Oh, it's suitcase connector. Suitcase connector. That's it. They clip right onto your. So like typically when you're trying to run wires on these things, this is gonna be like a 2-hour podcast. Woo! You try to have it so like the main wires are running underneath your train. What are they called again? Crud. Is too late. I can't remember.
So you got your. Oh boy.
The main bus, basically.
Yeah, you got your bus and you got your feeders, right?
Yeah. So you can see here these ones are basically all the same.
Your main bus, you want to have a thicker gauge, and then your feeders can be a little bit smaller. Right?
Yeah, except I just did it all 18 gauge.
Nah,
it's small. And it's what I had. So it's like, it works. But I got all those wired in. I still need to make it pretty, but they're there. Then I was like, well, I'm going to shape some foam. So I started cutting. So here is the little hill that's going to be 1 inch high. Oh, I didn't explain this in the thing. I didn't talk about it, but there's going to be a little creek over on the other side of the curve to really justify, hey, this is why it's doing this curve to get into town.
Yeah.
So between the hill and the creek, I feel like it's going to justify it and it'll make it look good. So I did that, and then guess what? Started hacking at it.
Wow.
Yeah. So like I'm doing the stuff that I've been intimidated on for years.
That's great.
As you see, I can kind of keep going. You can see that's the little patch I tested on.
Yeah.
Kind of adding more things of foam, trying to figure out the shaping of it.
Oh, look at that. You
got that there. Playing with the shapes. My daughter helped paint the barn.
Yay.
And the house that I got. I literally picked these up. These were like really cheap ones I got from my model train club. That like, they had hanging around. I just bought them for like $3 each. So they're like, these aren't like, they're like, probably like really old ones from somewhere, and like some of the parts are missing, like a window's missing, but like it's perfect for like, hey, Bobby.
Well, like the barns are not perfect. There's probably missing. There's barns out there missing half.
So, but
half
I
of the
think
walls.
they ended up looking pretty good.
They look, good
Look
job.
at all the other stuff
Good
there.
job.
But here you go.
Yeah.
Look at that. That looks
Look at
pretty
that
good.
barn.
Like, I helped her a lot. Like, she basically did the first coat, and then I did the rest.
Great.
But, yeah, I think it looks pretty good for, someone that hasn't really painted that much, and also a toddler doing it.
That's impressive.
There you go. I think this is their final state right now. She chose the colors in the house, so she wanted orange house, pink windows. But we do have the roofs matching.
Nice.
So, this is about what we look like today. So I cut out the
That's the road?
That's the road going up. And yeah, that's what I got right now. As I said, it works. Hopefully I'll have it at this little model train meetup in a couple weeks.
Cool.
Maybe I'll have a little bit more done, but we'll see. I have a trade show next week where I go away to Vegas for like a week.
Yeah.
So, as I said, it works. I even have it right now. You can kind of see there's like wires coming down from the main layout above it. That's because I decided instead of unplugging my DCC system and plugging it in over there to test it.
It's now part of the layout.
It's just now part of the layout at this point. I was just like, well, there's those suitcase connectors right there. I could just put a blade one on the end of the bus wires and just plug them right in, and it worked.
Hey, sometimes DCC is much simpler than the other system.
Except the problem is now I have to remember not to leave a bunch of crap on the tracks over there, especially if they're metal, because that'll just short everything.
The whole thing out.
I did that the other day. I was like, crud. But I'm excited about this. As I said, I've kind of gone through being like, I've broken down several barriers of my mentally of like what I can do and stuff like that. So, and that's really
your skills up.
Exactly. I'm like trying to get it so like, hey, I'm learning how to paint. I'm learning how to do scenery. I'm learning how to mold the foam. I haven't cut into the parts yet.
Yeah, these are all things we've seen countless tutorials on and workshops, and we're just too chicken shit to actually do it ourselves.
Exactly. That's why I'm finally doing it. So like over here, I need to cut in this corner here. I need to cut the creek.
Are you gonna put the polyurethane
eventually? Yeah.
Be careful with that because it could eat the foam.
Oh really? Well, I think I need to paint it first.
Yeah,
right,
just paint it, right?
Yeah.
And then like they always leak everywhere. So
yeah.
Watch Boylai Hobby Times is a great channel, Billy. You should watch it.
I'll look at that. And then I also need to cut in under here, under this this track here, the straight track that comes off it, because that's where the cold trestle will go. Yeah. But truthfully, I think I might not do that until after the thing, because I'm not like when I bring this to the thing in a couple weeks. I have a feeling it's going to be tough to bring down and up down the stairs, and I 100% if that's stuck there, we'll break
cold trestle. Yeah, it's going to get demolished.
Exactly. So I might have to figure out either whether that's going to be removable, but when it's attached to the track, I don't think it's as removable as a lot of the other buildings are. Yeah. But then the other thing I was trying to figure out is I'd like to make it so some of the scenery is removable. So part of me is thinking I could make like cardboard and paint cardboard up, and that will be actually some of the scenery in some areas, especially if it's going to be like the farm area and there's going to be a bunch of cows and fields and stuff like that. So then I could just take the whole farm area out and transport it separately than this. So then I can have the cows and stuff secured in the yard. I don't know. As I said, I've kind of been playing around with that idea. Because obviously I'll probably take the buildings off, but like I'd like to be able to have a lot of like the people and stuff like that there too. Because I want to really try to my goal. I want to try to really highly detail this as much as I can, like to really get that idea of like, hey, I want to really prove to myself I can do this stuff.
Yeah, you can do it. I think it's gonna be great.
Yeah. So as I said, I've already gotten further than I have with any other layout with this. So.
And we've gotten longer than any other podcast.
Really?
No, maybe not. No, I don't know.
I feel like we definitely had a podcast that went 2 hours before. We've definitely had an hour and a half podcast.
What we learned is I love talking about my own layout.
It's true. It's true, you do. And I needed to like cut you off probably about 15 minutes before after you were just like showing people random
videos of crap.
And I'm like, this isn't going to be great for podcast.
Oh, well. So with that, that's our podcast. I guess I'll give a little shout out for my shirt that I've got. So I've got a 20th Century Limited baseball shirt, is I believe what it's called. So it kind of goes over your elbow, which is kind of nice. So you can like rest your elbow and things. I got it dirty, but it's kind of still cool. But 20th Century Limited. It's got Dreyfus Hudson on the front. It's got an observation car in the back. Actually, this one doesn't have the observation. It doesn't have the observation car in the back. But yeah, go find it at our Etsy shop, Railbrothers, Etsy.com/Railbrothers.
Nice.
And thanks for joining us here. Sorry for the missing episode here, but if you guys want to come over to the exhibition at the AA Center Philly, you guys should do that. And
also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram,
like
Facebook, YouTube, and subscribe, drop a review, all those things that you're supposed to do when you listen to a podcast.
Read the bell, tickle the balls, whatever the thing is.
What are you doing, Danny? You are.
It's a little too late for me. That's my bedtime.
It's almost midnight.
My wife's not here today.
My wife is, and she's probably in bed asleep.
Yeah. All right.
Also, shout out to the Model Train people. They have a great fun Discord, and they're one of the ones that are inspiring me to do this. So, and they also have a podcast, Model Train People podcast. You should listen to that.
Yeah, good podcast.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Have a good night, y'all. Bye.